I was amazed.
So, Peter, I totally agree with you that if a drug in accelerated approval fails in its confirmatory phase 3 trial, it should be pulled. If we stipulate that, why should the accelerated approval process be restricted to HIV and oncology and terminal diseases? Why shouldn't we use it for the biggest public health problems we have, like cardiovascular and metabolic disease, where we have validated biomarkers and we've made it impossible for all but the most well-capitalized companies to develop drugs in those areas? And I'd love for Colin to respond as well.
That was such a well-phrased question.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, nicely done. No, it is for unmet medical need. That is what it's for. And if there's a reasonable biomarker, then indeed, in principle, it's available to people. The last thing that drugs are not getting, at FDA is special treatment. I mean, I've said there are these four different pathways. Most drugs get at least one. I mean, we're in Lake Wobegon world here, people, where everything is special. Okay? It's hard to find the drug that doesn't get special treatment from FDA. Either they get the fast track, they get expedited approval, they get QIDP if they're an antibiotic, they get orphan drug if they're a rare disease, they get special treatment and patent exclusivity if they're a pediatric drug.
And does that concern you?
No, not well. I debate each of them individually. I think that each of them have their own niceties, but I don't think, regardless, that it's fair. The agency these are for unmet medical needs. That is what accelerated approval is for, and the FDA uses a pretty lax definition of that, which is why so many drugs fall under it. I don't think we need an accelerated approval for the 25th non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. No.
So I think Avik's point is emphasizing a lot of the perspectives I'm bringing here. And once again, we're not talking about the Me Too drugs. I do think what keeps the biotech and pharma industry from investing in a lot of new breakthrough drugs is the regulatory hurdles. It's too expensive, takes too long, and therefore they just don't put the money in. And so we don't get to live in the world to see the counterfactual of what if the FDA lowered the bar on some of the efficacy requirements or used accelerated approvals for cardiovascular diseases. What would we see as a result? Still holding the efficacy bar high, but moving some of that into the real world, especially where you're dealing with very heterogeneous diseases, where it's just not feasible to run a clinical trial that's really getting after all of the subtypes.